It's a cold December evening outside, and I'm in the warm office of my longtime friends who are business partners. So, how many years are you in this business? Around 5, right? How's that? Well, Yuri thinks I've only joined 1 year back. Well, truth be told, I first met Vova with you something like 6 years ago. So, is your question about when we founded this company or how long one has been an entrepreneur? Yeah, like working together. Sure, I recall you started earlier. We can say that Yuri Vladimir is the first founder and Andrey is the third founder. So, what is your company all about? Well, to sum it up, our business sells children's products, mainly large or bulky items. We focus on retail sales and have an online presence. Yeah, well, that's the technical side of it. What we actually do is help moms choose baby carriages and other products for their newborn babies. That's our concept. We don't actually present ourselves in any way as a store. We are experts that assist you in selecting baby products. Hmm, how long have you done this? Well, this particular industry, I've been in it for 11 years. I've met Vova 6 years back, and then we've started to work together, and Andrei is 4 years with us. This whole baby carriage business was something new for me at that time, but he convinced me to go for a certain brand that turned out to be not too good. I'm still a rookie when it comes to baby carriages, but I like working with people. I even went for this particular baby carriage brand for my newborn, but it turned out that there were better options. Let's start with your partnership. Yura, what have you been doing before this, before the baby carriage business? Well, I have been working in quite a lot of areas. In terms of business? Yeah, I'm in business. Well, before all of this, I used to have a photography school. Before meeting Yura, I used to have a cafe school too, and that closed down. Well, what happened next was I got into a business finance course, started attending, and during my studies there, I met Yura. We became friends, and after some time, we realized that we can't be without each other. The business finance school at Word of Life Church, right? Yeah, that's the course you did. So, that's where you met. At which point did you decide to do business together? At the time we met, I was having my baby carriage business, and Boba had his photo school. No, I was just getting into that. Yeah, that was just in the works. Well, we clicked, and actually, the first business we wanted to start was something totally different. Back then, I had another business partner, and Woba had his own one. So basically, we had other business partners, but were not successful. This is a whole other story. Yeah, at one point we wanted to open a time cafe. Sometime back it was very popular. It was just being introduced. Remember we went all around and worked on a business plan? And you told me you have a bad memory, huh? And then, at some point, Vova's business didn't seem to go well, and I had stopped working with two of my business partners. I realized that I couldn't do it all alone. I needed a partner, and I started looking, and so that's how we started working together. So, you've made a choice to enter this industry. Can you elaborate more on that? In fact, the focus on children's products is an interesting business. It's got a positive vibe to it. I would say it matches our Christian values, especially because, anyway, for most of us, the birth of a child is quite an important event. Something like a wedding. It's something significant, and the ability to assist new parents is what really drives us. That's why it makes people happy, right? Yeah, we sort of become part of the parent story, right? Definitely, that's what we do. The second point is that children are always born. This means that there'll always be a demand for products, I hope. Andre is the third partner. And what about you? What was your previous business? Well, during my university days, I had a small design business related to printing. It was also a partnership. I've never been a sole owner of a business. The next business was a Korean electronic sanitary ware business. All sorts of bidet covers, smart toilets, various smart devices. Smarter than you, huh? For sure. Well, then my business partner and I split up, so I was in search of what's next. That is, there were several pathways I could choose when I met these guys. It just so happened that in my last business, I have already worked with them. I was involved in creating different websites. One of the sites I did was actually a copy of their site. So I wanted to occupy myself and thought, well, there's already a copy and plus a sweet little business. And then it dawned on me, why not here? And I kind of chipped in. Well, I didn't get in as a partner right away. There was kind of a trial period. I was tormented like this for a few years, so it took me some time. It wasn't easy, I must say, but now I'm a fully fledged business partner. Yeah, well, we had to agree on other issues. There are some financial matters that had to be resolved as well. That's what I would like to add. So, all good? We cool now? Well, to give you the full story, all of this needs to be mentioned. Hey, he still owes us some money. Well, they gave me such a low salary, I basically worked for free. We provided the bread and the water. I understand when you, someone who's looking to find a new niche while being in a position where you could potentially strengthen it by bringing someone to your business. So, how did you make the decision after all that you needed Andrei? How? We looked at him and thought he's the man. Yeah, we just felt sorry for a friend, right? Just kidding. Let me put it this way. Any partnership is something that evens out your shortcomings. And we were well aware of our shortcomings, and this creativity was something we lacked in our business. In business, it is something really important. And Andrei is, of course, not creative. Oh, I'm joking. Well, Andrew is, in fact, creative, and he was a great addition to our team. It was a great investment, because I'm sure if it wasn't for Andrei, we wouldn't be the same as we are now then. Well, I agree. I could be credited for all the achievements from last year. Yeah, if you have new ideas, how do you evaluate whether they're worth trying in your business, especially if they're not related to the current direction? Well, we have two ways in which these ideas come in. One of us could propose an idea and we discuss it, and then at times we meet up for a brainstorm. We have discussions, share our ideas, and then Andrei maintains a list of ideas. But I also like to share a lot of my ideas myself. A bunch of ideas might pop up. About half of them are discarded because there's also the principle of two against one. So you need two people to like it. You need two votes. So two against Andrei. In fact, when there are three partners, it's really simple. It's very easy to make decisions. And when there are two, that is two opinions, it's hard. And another way we evaluate ideas, we have this ritual, this dance. When one of us has a really cool idea and they can't just keep it to themselves, they say, everyone just freeze, pause all your thoughts. This means it's a very important idea. The dance is like a signal. This idea must be heard. So who usually generates more ideas? Yuri has it going for him more often. Yeah, he's an idea generating dancer. Yeah, Yuri has this quality. Vova is, not to say cynical, he's more level-headed, pragmatic. One of his strongest qualities is tolerance for risk. In principle, this quality has driven us to go into minus, into debt. I have a different quality. I get kind of fired up about it and talk about it. I think that my idea is the most important thing, that there just can't be any other. We invested it all in Yura, and Yura went to bed with this idea, and a day later he gave us quite a good final answer, and we both liked it. The idea was refined and rolled out, and we're good to go. So, who is the boss in this team? Well, it's considered that they are. God is. Whoever has the money is in charge. Among you three. Well, we don't have something like this. You know, in this respect, it's very easy for us. We call ourselves multi-heads for a reason. If one of us negotiates and reaches a decision, then it's kind of binding for the whole company. The two others confirm and then we start working. That way, it's easier for us. Of course, we do have delegation in this company. Someone is more in charge of creativity, another for finance, and another for communication with suppliers, and that's how we work together. And in these fields, someone can make a decision and we move on. Well, the most important thing is that we have a common values. or a common goal, the particular goal and the mission is common for us all. It couldn't be any other way. Yes. Most importantly, we understand that we don't want to drag the person or the company into some kind of loss. Well, each one of us realizes that if there's an important decision to be made, we must sit down and discuss it. If one of us sees that this particular decision would result in more profit or bring some benefit for the company, then of course one could freely make the decision. Well, we seem to have underestimated the mission a little bit. It might seem this way from the interview, but the mission is actually really important for us. We view a lot of things from the perspective of the mission. And this is what unites not only the three of us, but our whole collective. Because we have created this all to glorify God. And this is all connected to our main mission. I think Sasha might have some questions. Do you have some questions? Yes, I had some questions about values. To what extent should they coincide? Values are very important, right? That's at the very core of what you do, right? Well, I think they should coincide at the very foundation. You know, when I first came, I kind of grasped what these guys want to achieve. And of course, like in any business, profit plays a role. But what I picked up on was that there was also a passion to help. Like, we want to help. A better birth rate in the country. We wanted people to stop treating large families as some sort of terrible ordeal. And they kind of had this vision that we are relieving people of stress. At least in the area we work in. We relieve mothers of stress. It's always a challenge to make the correct choice, especially when buying something. We don't focus on the purchase but what makes people happy. Let us help you choose things that will make you happy. And when I heard this, I thought, this is the right place for me. My other options included companies that focused on conversion and income generation. That's why I'm kind of stuck here. Well, our common denominator, or if I could say our ideology, why we actually operate as a business. Well, first and foremost, we are people of faith. And usually it's hard to work with others in a partnership. Different people focus on different things. And what I have personally noticed is, for instance, for us the most important thing is our relationship. For example, there may be some issues arising, even arguments. But we are capable of just coming together and even apologizing to each other. Because what we place first is our relationship. Money is something like, well, for us believers, it's something that comes and goes. Like everything in this world, we come with nothing and we leave with nothing. But what's important is our relationship. Well, you know what? I just had this thought. What the theorists say is that when partnerships are formed, you need to spell out every little thing, all the little answers. But the cool thing we have is the Bible, which contains all the answers. All we need to do is to follow. Vova coined an interesting phrase. What holds us together is the ability to push back any upcoming issue, whatever the relevance. There is something more important. And it's our relationship. We don't want to oppose one another, even if we're discussing a controversial topic. When I propose to discuss a particular topic, for me it's important to be supported. And I may even freak out for a day and think they don't really need this. And then they would suddenly offer me all the support I need. And I came to realize that life goes on, but the most important thing that remains is our relationship. Because right now we're having this business, and later we'll sell it for $1 billion or two, or even six. Hey, hold on. That was my price. Okay. I'm so glad that you guys were so sincere about your values right now. I haven't planned to ask this question, but I think it would be appropriate also to talk about the material side. Possibly some figures from your company. How many employees, turnover, something you can openly disclose. We have around 25 employees. It's important to understand what we mean by employees. We have 4 stores. 2 are our own, and the other 2 or even 3, the two are hybrid franchise stores, partnership franchise. If we talk about our Moscow office, we have around 20 employees and some are actually outsourced. And I believe we could share some of our financial figures. You're in charge of that, right? Yeah, of course we can. Well, if we exclude franchising and only take our Moscow and St. Petersburg business into account, well, then on average we have around 25 million rubles turnover at the moment. And are your families friends? Well, our families are not hostile. Well, our families are friends, but I can't say that we meet every week or so. Occasionally we meet and we exchange gifts. Our wives are actually in touch with each other somewhere without us. We even go on vacation with each other. I remember going on vacation with Yura, with Andrei. I didn't have a one-to-one vacation with Yura. Well, to sum it up, our wives are not as close friends as we are. But we do get along and we exchange gifts and so on and so forth. Times we travel, but we don't meet every weekend. Andrei is inviting us home, and this is the fifth year he's doing so. We are waiting. Could you provide an example of the power of partnership, where thanks to a partner, the company gained something or avoided losing something? Well, this is something that happens all the time. Yeah, that happens a lot, and I don't have anything that comes to my mind, but this happens all the time. Well, in my opinion, it's something like this. Yura is a negotiator. He's moderately cunning, moderately wise. Yeah, he's not cunning, he's wise. He knows how to find the right approach, and when an important negotiation is successful, it's almost always his merit. Boa is actually good at calculating risk. There might have been some risky steps involving finances that we would have never taken if it were not for Boba. Yeah, and I'll avoid talking about myself. Andrew, well, he's usually good at sorting things out after all our negotiations. And then his pressure spikes up and we need to calm him down. Well, what's the point of the partnership? What's it all about? I could agree something in negotiations, and if I don't have the correct financial figures, I could make the wrong decision. That's why while I could work on a business relationship, it might not always be beneficial for us. That's why I always consult with Vova. Well, whatever conclusions or agreements we reach with Vova, Andrei has to sort it out. That's how we operate in our business. We're probably one of the leaders in our industry when it comes to marketing. And of course, the creative side of marketing, Andrei is our specialist. And he's the man that brings it into play. So it goes like, Andrei, we have reached an agreement, now bring in your creativity. What was the turnover before Andrei became a partner? I recall something like 10 million rubles, so $133,000. When I came, it was something like 4 million rubles. But it was right at the beginning. It was right at the beginning, and at that time we didn't have Instagram or any social networks. We decided to set this up, but you can't link it exclusively to my arrival. It was just a natural continuation of the company's development. When Boba came into the scene, our turnover was less than 1 million rubles. 1 million, and we even had a little debt. All in all, we have around 40 to 50% annual growth. Yeah, praise God, every year. Notwithstanding the pandemic, we just keep on growing, yeah. If you take last year into account, we've grown around 90%, around 80 to 90%. And honestly, we don't know how to explain this development. We just don't know. Something happened this spring and we just had this rapid development. And then we opened our archives. We were just thinking, was it sales channels, new managers? No, nothing like that. Literally just doubled. And we decided to praise God, because whatever happens, God is in control. This means the right time came for us to grow. And now we're just waiting to double again. Another spring. Another spring. What other indicators do you think showcase your success? I would say reviews. The amount of reviews. Do you mean real success as in within the company, like general success? Do you think the fact that you managed to keep this company is a success? Company equals success? Well, for me, success is the fact that the three of us are together. Yeah, we managed to be a team. Yeah, and our relationship keeps on improving day by day. And now we just have more fun together. Well, if you take a company, if you put it bluntly, a lot of people have companies. A lot of people have companies, but we are a company of friends. We have a crew, and that's where our success comes from. We have, okay, for instance, I'm not sure if this is related or not to the topic. For example, we have a lot of good, fun moments with our employees. We have a very friendly, informal atmosphere. They could even make jokes at our expense. And you're being called the rule of the company. And they're just walking around and thinking, is he a real boss or not? Around 4 years after I joined the company, a new phrase was coined that work should be fun. And then it became something like a motto: honest, useful, fun. To work honestly, create value, and last but not least is to remain positive. That's really important for us. You know, there are pre-marriage courses for people who would like to create a family, for young couples who want to have a family. Imagine that there will be courses for beginner entrepreneurs, for those who want to start a company. What kind of advice would you give them? So, what kind of advice would you give these entrepreneurs, those who want to start a company? A company or a team? Yeah, you could say a team. I think the honest, useful, fun motto is a good start. Be honest, create value, and always stay positive. Well, in any case, they should be united by common values. No question about it. For example, the fact that we are Christians, that's the most important value that we have. Yes, this is our common denominator. So we're not just believers, but we are, as Yuri likes to say, we are active believers. And, of course, we have a good understanding of each other's values, the interpersonal relationships, and our goal, our common goal. This is what unites us all. It's really interesting. I recall I used to attend some courses, family courses, not pre-marriage courses. And they really helped me. And there was a special course divided into 8 parts, if I recall correctly. And the topics included relationships between yourselves, intimate relationships, relationships with friends, relationships with each other's parents. And I really like this structure. What I'm thinking now is that throughout the day, we are spending more time with each other than with our spouses. Take that time into account. And our wives just see us at night, and then we get up and have breakfast, and then we leave to work. And that's why interpersonal relationships at work, a course like that would be really important. Because at the end of the day, our 3-member partnership has an effect on the happiness of our families back home. So, of course, this is important. Thank you. And this is the advice from Yuri, Vladimir and Andrey.